Good morning. Today I wanted to talk about this science unit we just finished. This is the Good and the Beautiful Arthropods, Insects, Spiders, and Crustaceans science unit for grades 4 to 6. And we really did enjoy it. We took a few months to dive into it. And I wanted to show you some of the work we did and my setup. Obviously, if you've ever seen The Good and the Beautiful, it doesn't come in a binder. It actually comes just a stack of papers if you order the printable, and it doesn't come hole punched or anything like that. It just comes in color, nice quality paper, but an unhole punched, unlaminated stack. I then take it comes with like a paper on top. I take that apart and I always make a binder because I like to be able to reuse things and print things and have everything kind of pre-printed and organized. Obviously, we've just finished this book, so I've already taken out the worksheets that we've used, and those are not in here. But I just want to show you how it's set up. Each unit is sent to you with a table of contents. It also gives you the unit information. So basically this is like the legend. It shows you what symbols mean throughout the unit. They also give you a supplies needed by lesson, which is really great because you can just make a little box, put all your supplies in it for the whole unit, and you're good to go. There's also an optional reading list. We don't typically use the optional reading list. I just don't have time with all of our homeschool activities to do it, but it's great that it's here. And again, it's broken down by recommended lessons. I would say see how big these books are, because even though a book may be for a certain lesson, it may be a larger book and you may need to start it earlier to work it into your schedule. So this is a lesson, and they always kind of give you the objectives and any preparation again for the lesson. And then it literally walks you through what to say to the student. It tells you when to pause when you ask a question. It also gives you recommended answers. If you have any vocabulary, they throw these little squares in here. And we place our vocabulary on our science wall. Matter of fact, Darius, can you grab me some of the vocabulary? Grab all the vocabulary off the science wall, and I'll show you how I did that. Yeah, because we're done with that unit. Okay. Yeah, and then they also give you the definitions, and you talk about things. And then each lesson has some type of activity or project. This one, we kind of compared invertebrates to vertebrates, and we wrote those in our science journals, and I'll show you that soon. And then I like that once you finish a lesson, they always give you an older children's like extra little bit. So if you're, because you're doing this usually as a family or a group, you may have kids at different ages. So if your children are a little bit more advanced, you can use the older children's information. And I love the pictures. They are high quality, and the activities are very easy to do. And again, if there were any papers that I wanted to make copies of, I made copies and I put them in these like little page protectors so that I could just hand them out. So I do that for every unit. If they give you a worksheet, they always give you the answers. So like this was the worksheet for the students, and then that was the answers for you as the teacher. This is a very pick up and go type of program. Very little preparation is needed. Even if you don't want to do any of the extras, it's very easy and you're still getting a lot out of it. This particular unit came with projects, and the kids did do them. They picked their insects, a ladybug and a beetle, and they did oral presentation, so that was really different and nice. And I do laminate. As you can see, this is a laminated piece of paper for things that I feel like we're going to cut out and the kids are going to play with, or I'm going to show anything that I think they're going to touch that I want to reuse that they're not going to put in their particular their science journals. I laminate. So this is laminated. We used this and touched it. We read this as a group, so it's laminated. Again, laminated life cycle. And then some things like projects where I'm going to get back, I'll laminate. These were like little cards with information on the back, little tent cards that we did as part of a station. And then we also do a lot of, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We also do a lot of mini books. I think quite a few of the Good and the Beautiful science units come with mini books. And this one was on, I think it was termites. Yeah, termites. And we just glue these really simply. We read them, and it gives us really cool information. The kids love the mini books. I only have one mini book to show you from a child because they usually keep them. But again, really quality pictures. You can get these science books, these science units on PDF and print them yourself. But unless you're going to splurge for a really good quality paper and a really great printer, I would suggest buying them because the images are wonderful for the kids to be able to see. And I like that there's a variety of projects. Again, the laminated. And then this was we made this. It was like a honey candy when we studied bees. It was pretty good. It kind of tasted like taffy. And then this was another activity where we matched things. And again, I try to keep it together. They give you a little history of a famous scientist who studied insects. And like I said, overall, this was just a really great unit. We did really enjoy the butterfly unit. You could have, and the cool thing is, you could have always added things to it. So for the butterfly unit, you could have, I would say grow, but hatch your own butterflies. We didn't do that. We just didn't have enough time, but that wasn't a thought that I had for this one. You also could get an ant farm for the ant unit. But even without the extras, it was still a great program. That's our ant mini book. And yeah, and then we went all the way through crustaceans. That was my crustacean book. Let me see. I think I thought I put a child's book. Let me see if I can find. Oh, there it is. I see it. So this was my 7-year-old, about to 8-year-old's, his mini book. As you can see, it's not as nice as mine, but it serves the same purpose. He cut it out himself. I just printed it on my home printer, and we read through it, and we just used glue, and there's his mini book. And again, when we do little activities, this one we had to put in order for like the life cycle of the black widow spider. So she was hatching her eggs, and then the eggs hatched, and then you got to grow the spider. So that was pretty cool. And I was talking about the vocabulary words. They give you these printed out. What I typically do is laminate them and cut them out because you need a science wall. Well, they recommend a science wall, and so we laminate them, cut them out, and then as we go through them, I keep them all in our science binder, but as we go through them, we'll just take them out and place them on the science wall. We'll read through them, and I'll show you how each child puts those in their science journal as well. But we didn't have a lot of vocabulary for this particular science unit. I know we did the human body, we had a lot more. So let me show you what the kids' work actually looks like, because yes, it's fun to go through this, but if your kids aren't learning, then it's kind of pointless. So I love that they have you do a science journal. This is Darius's science journal. She's 12. She was 11 for all of this, but she's now 12, so I'll say that. So she made a cover page. And then this is her work. So anytime they told us to write something down, she wrote. She also, because she's older, writes the definitions in her science journal. So these are pictures she drew, different little things. Body parts of the ant. Insects and things. So yeah, everything's really cute. And they get graded per lesson on, you know, their participation and also the work that they do in their science journal. Because pretty much every lesson you write something in your science journal, you add something to it. That's a life cycle. This is an additional project we added. It came from a different place. This was a homework assignment. They did some research. I don't think my son did this one though. This is about the ants. A lot of things are like diagrams and comparing things. Oh, this is a black widow spider. And then that's the crayfish. So yeah, so like I said, you expect different from, you know, different age children, but as you see, they did a lot of work for this one unit. And then my 7-year-old son, this is his book. And for him, because we do this as a group, it would take way too much time for him to write these definitions. So a lot of times he's picked as the reader, and then I printed his own copy of the vocab. He cuts them out and glues them into his science journal. So he still reads them and knows what they are. And then this is his work. And he writes just a little less than she does. I expect her to write a little bit more detail, and he writes a little bit less. But they both get a lot out of the units. And if you're interested to see how the actual day goes when we actually go through a lesson, I do have some video of that on my iRock Homeschool Facebook page, but I also plan on doing some videos here on YouTube as well. But today was kind of an impromptu because we're putting in grades. But that is my 7-year-old's book, and we just, to bind it, we just put a little twine around it, and our books are done. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of insight into the good and the beautiful arthropod science unit. The kids really enjoyed it. And even though I do not like insects and I am terrified of spiders, we really enjoyed this unit. Oh, I did forget to say that they give you video links to some really great YouTube videos on some topics. So we did learn a lot from the videos as well, along with we went outside to explore they went outside to explore some of these insects. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments section below. If you like this video, do a thumbs up, and if you want to see more about our homeschool, please do subscribe. Have a great day.